So it would seem that Google is being asked to actually adhere to its values. Wonder how that's going to go.
The Google Walkouts are shining a spotlight on how the tech giants treats women.
On how they treat women? I mean, you'd think that Google treats women great, right?
Thousands of employees left work yesterday to protest revelations in the New York Times that Google protected 3 executives accused of sexual misconduct and paid large severances to 2 of them.
Holy shit. You'd have never thought that Google would be paying off harassers? Right?
One of those executives, Andy Ruman, denied the claims made against him. He says this: the New York Times story contains numerous inaccuracies about my employment at Google and wild exaggerations about my compensation.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm being trained slowly to listen and believe. I gotta go with the ladies here, man. I mean, well, I don't know. Andy Rubin. We Andys stick together. I'm gonna have to go with him on this one. That's gonna have to be my arbitrary reason for now. Well, that due process, you know. But I don't know. I don't know what Andy Rubin's case is. I haven't seen any of the evidence. I haven't heard the story. You know. But if he was fired from Google for sexual misconduct, that's not good. Wow.
Now, this is the latest protest in the year of the Me Too movement. The nationwide action also led to the creation of Time's Up, an organization that insists on safe, fair, and dignified work for women of all kinds.
I will say that I like Time's Up more than Me Too. I will come out and say that. Me Too, you know, Me Too has this kind of bandwagon feel to it, and that's kind of what it's become. I like Time's Up better. I think it's time for Time's Up to shine.
Lisa Borders is Time's Up first president and CEO. Her first day on the job was yesterday.
What a coincidence.
She previously served as president of the WNBA.
Well, that's kind of like a promotion. She was president of the WNBA, and now she's president of Time's Up. That is kind of a promotion to go from what was attempting to be a profitable sports venture to a non-profit organization. Yeah, that is kind of a step up.
Good morning to you, Lisa Borders.
Good morning, Gail. Great to be with you.
We're glad you're here. So take us through your day yesterday. You wake up and you see these headlines and you're thinking, I have work to do. What were you thinking?
My first thought was if there were any question about the decision I made to come to Time's Up and begin this work and join the folks who started this in January of last year.
See, I like to try and give everybody like time to get their whole point out and everything. But sometimes people talk for so long, and I could only have so many seconds worth of unbroken video before things get claimed. So, break.
There was no question that the universe affirmed my decision. It's unfortunate, but I'm here to do the work. Let's get started.
All that for I'm here to, it was ordained by God, and I'm here to fucking do the work. Let's get going. It was like 30 seconds. Just for that.
What did you think about Google's response and the fact that they're in this conversation this way?
The first thing I thought was it was stunning that it was Google. You think of them as a tech giant. You think of them as being culturally relevant and resonant. You look at their doodles every morning and you think they keep it real every day. You
know, Chris Rock said something about keeping it real. Google.
Love to keep it real. Real dumb.
So to see this walkout, this global protest against them was stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning. I mean, wow. That's why I took off the weekend too. Solidarity. I'm not posting videos while Google's under this kind of thing. We're walking out, man, for those 2 days. Walked out.
It is not surprising, though, when you think about corporate America and how many challenges we see in the boardroom and the mailroom with regard to women and how we are treated, not just in corporations, but in every sector, in every industry.
Yeah, Google. What do you have to say about that? You're supposed to be a paragon of the tech world. What happened? What the fuck happened?
So your first day was yesterday. What does the to-do list look like? I mean, is it to fix and change things in the boardrooms? Is it to help companies that think, gosh, we just have no idea where to begin? Or there's a whole huge legal side.
Right. So, John, we cannot boil the ocean. We're going to work in 3 sectors: culture, companies, and laws.
Ooh. I don't know, man. That's some scary shit, but, you know.
This fits, the Google situation fits, frankly, in all 3. We are delighted that the CEO spoke up yesterday. Mr. Pichai said, I agree with the workers. I agree with the women and the enlightened men.
And the enlightened men. With the women, we all know they're intelligent. And the enlightened men. Because any men not involved in this, they're unenlightened. Well, Sundar's with you. We'll see how that goes.
Who walked out yesterday and said, we have some issues to address
Women
at
and
Google.
men walked out.
Women and enlightened men.
There it is again, in case you missed it. Women and enlightened men.
That is for sure, all across the globe. So we applaud that. That's acknowledging the problem. The question now is, how are you going to address the problem?
Man, I don't know. Do you think the people walking out had a list of demands?
When I thought about the Google team, if you will, the Google family, they left notes on their desk as to where they were going, what they were doing, why they were protesting, and they left 5 issues on the table that they would like to see addressed.
End forced arbitration. Now I gotta say I agree with this one. I think it was Hot Coffee, I think was the documentary where they talked about forced arbitration. I believe it was Hot Coffee. You should watch that. It's a good one anyways, even if it wasn't that one. But if it wasn't that one, I don't know what one it was. But I think it was that one. Anyways. They were talking about forced arbitration. And there was a firm... I can't remember if I think it might have been Blackwater. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if but they were talking about some girls that were hired by a company that was doing construction overseas, right? American company, and they were over in, you know, one of the war-torn Middle Eastern areas, and they were doing the rebuilding and shit. And there was like 2 girls the whole fucking, you know, construction area. And these girls like got raped and shit. And everything went through forced arbitration. Forced arbitration is where if there's any sort of legal case that comes up, then the company will hire an arbiter. And that arbiter will decide that case. So obviously the arbiter is going to be incentivized to side with the company that's paying his bill more than maybe the aggrieved person. Right? So that's like the problem with forced arbitration. Forced arbitration is some shit. I have to agree with him on that one. Fuck forced arbitration. I don't like that.
It was crisp, it was compelling, it was clear.
Pay transparency and equity. Pay transparency. I don't know if I like the sound of that, but they do go into it. And equity. Pay equity. This is going to be fun to watch. This is going to be real fun to watch, man.
The question now is, will the CEO...
Disclosure of harassment reports. Reports found to be true or all reports? Because if it's all reports, just like you're going to put up a list every day, these people were reported yesterday for these crimes. Like, disclose harassment reports. Just the report, just any report? Any report that anybody gives against anybody, it's going to be disclosed to everybody? I don't like the idea of that. I mean, what if it's found to not be true? Or are we still working under the assumption that 95% of women tell the truth?
CEO and the board and the Google team.
Misconduct reporting consistency. Fair enough. Misconduct reporting consistency. That sounds fair. I don't really hear any buzzwords in there that would make me go, what the fuck? Misconduct reporting consistency. They want to be more consistent with misconduct reporting. Fair enough.
Take them seriously and respond, not react, respond.
And one of those is pay transparency that we have up on the screen right now. You say that is key for companies, especially for women, to see what others are making.
You're all just so fucking nosy. Man, stay out of how much I'm fucking making. I make the money that I make. You don't need to know how much I make. Why do you need to know how much I make? So that you could go in every fucking day and bitch because somebody else is making more money than you? You're going to put everybody at the level of the fucking mailman. Or whoever the janitor, whoever the lowest paid fucking guy there is. You all make what he makes. How about that? Like, fucking, holy shit. Pay transparency. Man, I don't, all that just sounds like it's trouble. There's a reason why companies don't say how much everybody in the company makes. Because they don't want to deal with the horse shit of everybody coming in every day going, how does he make more money than I do? Dude, man, it's going to turn into a nightmare working at Google. Like, my soul is sad at what's going to happen. It's just, at the same time, I'm so gleeful that I get to watch it from afar and just go, we've been trying to tell you.
To have salaries be made known so they can see whether or not they're underpaid.
Whether or not they're underpaid. Whether or not they're making less than other people. People they don't like. So that they can go in and go, why do I make less than Jan? Jan doesn't do anything but pop her bubblegum all day. Meanwhile, Jan's working really fucking hard. And her popping her bubblegum is just a nervous tick. She can't help it. But this chick doesn't like it. So now she's got to make as much as Jan. Even though she sits around all day bitching about how much less money she makes than other people.
Bianna, you're absolutely correct. Transparency is key to opening up all of this, whether it's pay inequity or opportunity inequity.
See, opportunity inequity, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I was in a meeting the other day at work, right? I was learning about safety, and for the 5 millionth time, and the lady that was doing the class, she said everybody that was on the safety board, and it was like the HR chick, and I think the other HR chick, and one of the maintenance guys, which was good, right? And another office person in like sales, and somebody in customer service, and like one of the leads. And that was the safety committee. And I'm like, so you've got one guy who actually knows about the fucking machinery, right? The dangerous stuff there, the machines. You've got one guy on the safety committee that knows that. You've got one guy on the safety committee that understands the process and how the machines are used and how people are going to get hurt. And then you've got 4 other people that work in the office. Like, what's their fucking role on the committee? Like, what do they talk about? Oh, there's somebody put an extension cord across from Susie's office. I almost tripped on it the other day. Oh, we should tape that down. Oh, we're doing good work here, folks. Somebody might lose a finger, but hey, we've got a whole bunch of office people on the, and I'm just like, oh my God. And thinking about that opportunity inequity, it popped that in my mind as I was about ready to say that was a good idea. Like, everybody should have their chance to go for the gold. You know, to everybody should have their opportunity to earn the position, but the position should be earned. Like, when they say opportunity inequity, and I think to myself, yeah, everybody should have the same opportunity. Sure. But then that word equity makes me go, you want to force, like, random people into it because, oh, we need a black guy. And we need a black woman. And we need a Hispanic. Like, even if maybe the only, Scandinavian that you have on the fucking in the company is the janitor, but he's got to be on the fucking the next Google phone meeting because he's our Hispanic guy. You never know what he could bring to the table. Diversity, it's our strength. Like, come on, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know. The forced equity. It's the equity part. Everybody should have the same opportunity to earn the position. But if you don't earn the position, sorry, you lose this round. Try again next time. Like, better yourself. Be better than the next person that next time. I don't know. Equity. It's just equity. It's a word that makes me go, these days.
You shouldn't have to know what's going on. You should be able to see it plainly.
Man, ain't that the fucking thing? You shouldn't have to know what's going on. You should be able to see it plainly. Yeah, I'd rather some understanding go along with all that looking. Come on.
The companies have an opportunity here, I think also an obligation. If you look at the data today, the diversity data that says when you have people of different backgrounds, experiences, skill sets, and talents working on any problem or anything that your company is working on, the results are better.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking, like I said, if you're talking about bringing the janitor in on the next fucking Google project, yeah, he bring some diversity to the fucking group, but what is he really going to contribute as far as like programming and shit? He's the janitor because that's the job he got. Like, are you going to bring salespeople in on programming meetings? You know, they're educated too. They're smart people. You never know what they could bring into it. A whole lot of, I don't understand what all of those numbers and letters mean. Like, come the fuck on, man. Oh my God. But we really need a maintenance person to be on the next fucking board meeting.
This is not Lisa's opinion. If you look at the price-earnings ratios in public companies, the return on investment, the data is clear. These companies have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. I'm not going to make the moral argument. May we start with the economic argument?
Well, I think that the economic argument at the end of the day is going to be the argument that's going to wind up winning out. So it's a good thing you brought that up.
You've also said, Lisa, that there's room for redemption. I think a lot of people may be surprised to hear you say that. What does that look like?
So
I'll show you exactly what it looks like. This is Sundar of the future.
anytime there's a crisis, Gail, we know that the formula is regret, reform, and restitution. Once you have walked through saying you're sorry, and you really mean it, a sincere I'm sorry, then you talk about what you're going to do to fix it, and then how are you going to take full accountability? You need to be brought into the fold. You can be the best ally. If you have done something wrong and you are now walking in the light and see a better way and going to perform a better way, you are in fact redeemed.
Yeah, but who makes that decision? Like, I don't really trust my accusers to decide when I'm redeemed. Like, of just random called out stuff, you know? I mean, that sounds odd when I say it that way, but I don't know. It's just like it's a lot of control. We want to have a lot of control. We want to have a lot of control over everything. I don't know, man. Like it's very authoritarian. Making these demands for equity and shit, and we want transparent pay. Like, I usually don't talk about the money that I make, because I usually make pretty good money for what I do, because I work goddamn hard. But I'm a pro, so I make it look effortless. And I know where I can cut corners, and I know how I can have fun at work, while I at the same time do a whole lot of work. Right? And I'm pretty damn quick. So, a lot of people don't think I do a lot of work. But I work really hard, actually. And it shows in my paycheck. And I don't want people to know what I make, because it's not their fucking business. It's not their fucking problem. But like in my current situation, we were leaving, me and one of the guys, we were walking out one day, and I think it was on a weekend. I think it was an overtime day. And I said something along the lines of, I worked so many hours this week, so that kind of averages out to X amount of dollars per hour. And I was like, that's perfect. And he goes, man, I wish I made that much money. And I'm like, oh. And like, I'd just been hired in. Like, I think I'd been working there maybe a full month at that point. And he'd been working there for years. But, I have oodles and oodles and oodles of experience in warehousing and supervision and stuff like that. There's, I train a lot faster because it's warehouse stuff. I know what I'm doing with warehouse stuff for the most part. And, I'm kind of like one of those people that will wind up stepping up and being a leader at some point, because I used to be a supervisor, and when going gets tough, the people who are ex-supervisors know we're gonna be here all fucking day if you guys don't get this shit moving. So, there's kind of that that to it too. So they hired me in at what I asked them for, because I said, what's the pay gonna be? And they said, what would you like? And it was the first time I'd ever been asked that question. And I threw out a number that honestly was stupid on my part, because it was low. I probably could have gone higher and gotten higher. But I threw out a low number, and they said, no, we can do that. And that was when I was like, fuck me, I should have thrown out a higher number. But like I said, it was the first time that I'd ever told somebody what I want to make, as opposed to being like, what will you give me? So, but I'm in that position because I've earned it. You know what I mean? Like, I worked hard to get where I'm at. I've done a lot of learning over the years on my forced upon profession that I happen to excel in. You know what I mean? So I've worked hard to get where I'm at to be able to do that. And he's a younger guy, and he's kind of in the starting stages of that. So he's where I was when I had worked for X amount of years at the company that I had worked at in my first serious adult job. So he's still going through a lot of the shit that I went through a decade ago. And therein lies the difference. You know what I mean? So, it would be ridiculous if people knew what I make at work, because there's a lot of guys that have been working there longer than me that I might make more than. And they're going to be like, what the fuck? And it's going to be like, well, dude, they're grooming me to run shit someday. Like, sooner or later, they figure you guys are going to rotate out, and I'm going to be the one holding the bag, and they want to keep me in reserve. Like, the companies love to do that kind of shit. They love hiring old supervisors because they can pay them, like they would pay somebody who's an old supervisor that's been just somebody who's been around for forever, that just has that fucking good work mindset. I don't know. But, yeah, that's why I wasn't worried when I quit my job, because I was like, somebody will pick me up somewhere. I just didn't think it was going to take as long as it took, but It's a big field. A lot of people out there warehousing. A lot of us non-college people. I just never wanted to go. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know, man. I think Google's going to be dealing with a lot of shit. That's going to be a very stressed out work environment, man. Like, you want to know what it's going to be like if the Democrats like ever get to a point where they get total control of the government. If like the far left extremist Democrats get control of the whole government, you know, go work at Google. You'll find out exactly what it's going to be like. Oh my God, just terrible. Well, you know, there's a lot of us out there who are kind of thinking to themselves, you know, if Google were to go tits up, that would mean that YouTube would go away. And that would suck, because that means that YouTube would go away. But at the same time, something else would come along to take Google, or to take YouTube's place. And wouldn't that be sweet? So some of us might be looking at this going, hee hee, and others are probably very upset. But I'm not going to say what I am. I'm just going to say, have a good night.
Get up on it, you fucking bitch!